Before you go deeper, think about the last time you forgave someone too quickly. What did you lose? And what did you secretly hope to gain? Comment your story below. The narrator pauses, the kind that pulls the listener in and holds them there. Forgiveness, in its rawest form, is an emotional gamble, and no one understood the cost of emotional gambles better than Jesse Livermore, the man who treated human behavior like a market chart. He once said, "The game does not change, and neither does human nature. To forgive easily is, in a way, to bet against your own self-preservation." But people who forgive quickly don't see it that way. They believe, consciously or not, that restoring harmony is worth more than protecting themselves. He believed patterns matter more than promises, and yet he believed deeply in the weight of second chances. Forgiveness, to him, was not softness. It was an analysis of risk, hope, and emotional cost. People who forgive easily often carry an internal algorithm, a quiet rule that says, keeping peace feels safer than keeping distance. They sacrifice boundaries because they fear what happens when connection breaks, not because they are fragile, but because they've learned, often the hard way, that emotional disruption feels more dangerous than emotional betrayal. The voice of the narrator slows down, revealing the tension beneath the surface. Psychologists call this the harmony bias. Livermore would call it the emotional stop-loss, a strategy used not to win, but to prevent deeper damage. People who forgive easily often grew up in environments where conflict felt like a storm, unpredictable, loud, and exhausting. So forgiveness became their shelter, not an act of grace, but an act of emotional self-defense. But here's the twist. Even though they forgive easily, they almost never forget. The mind stores every hurt like an unclosed trade, a red line hovering, waiting, not for revenge, but for understanding. Every act of forgiveness becomes a psychological investment. Maybe this time they'll change. Maybe this time it'll be different. Maybe this time I won't be disappointed. The problem: people who forgive easily rarely track the emotional cost the way Livermore tracked his losses. They hold on to hope the way a trader holds a failing position, thinking it'll turn around. And many times it never does. But in the heart of someone who forgives easily, there is always the same secret motive. Maybe if I keep forgiving, I'll finally be worth not hurting. The narrator lets the silence linger, a soft space for realization. Forgiveness becomes both their strength and their trap. A superpower that sometimes backfires, a generosity that leaves scars. And that is where the story truly begins.